I may be the Brat King, but I'm also the Shark King.
The Shark King. There's a Shark King waiting in the sky.
I got my metabolic panel back, and my calcium's actually better on tea.
Ooh,
Could also be that I started vitamin D again.
that's true. I should probably do that. I have like profoundly low.
Yes, especially now
Mhm.
that your chemicals have caught up with the estrogen, and once you're there, you're high risk for osteopenia or porosis because you are white.
You know what? Fuck these bones.
Oh my goodness! Hello.
Don't take that the wrong way.
Hi.
Hey, Gwen. All right. Hey, brats. My name is Robin, and I'm trans.
My name is Ben, and I'm trans.
And you are listening to Ben and Robin Are Trans, the Brat Pod. We have a special guest with us today. Her name is Gwen. She is a filmmaker, writer, YouTuber, content creator. Let me know if I'm missing anything in here.
Oh no, that kind of sums it up, I guess.
Yeah. So we met through TikTok originally.
Mhm.
And then she also has a YouTube channel that talks a lot about film and everything, which is really cool. So before we get into it, Gwen, how would you describe your gender / pronouns?
Well, I am a trans woman. I identify with she, her. And yeah, I don't really know what else to add to that.
That's all, yeah. Some people have like a really long, complicated, like
Mhm.
our one friend, like it was the whole episode, that part, and then other people are just like trans woman, good.
Yeah, like it's some people's descriptions of their gender are more complicated than others. So
Yeah. I had a very long journey that ended with like just like trans woman, she, her. So
yeah.
Ben, how long on tea now?
If you go by the calendar date, 2 months today.
Oh, congratulations!
If you don't,
amazing.
If you go by weeks, it's more than that. But 2 months today.
Yeah.
And I got my blood drawn this morning. And Geeta, the tech, did such a good job, you can barely even tell.
Oh yeah.
It's just a little dot.
Yeah. Nice.
She was incredible. I told her, like,
Yeah, we
this
need
is one of
to,
the best
like-
blood draws I've ever had.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We need to track these things because like we're publishing these way out of order. And Ben just started tea recently and his voice is dropping really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it's gonna be funny like for anybody listening to the podcast in sequential order because it's gonna be like up down up down.
Because we still have some release that we recorded like a month or two before I even started tea.
Yeah, yes.
And my
We have,
voice
like-
is significantly different.
No, we have like at least 7 or 8 episodes where you talk about how you still haven't started tea. Because we
It's fine.
recorded so much like in the same month, like in June.
Pride Month.
Pride Month, yeah. It's appropriate. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I wish these kids would stop screaming. They're making me nervous.
Damn kids.
Just not the squeaky toy right now. You can play with the ball though. You can play with the ball, just not the squeaky toy, okay? I'm gonna put it down here. Just
To be clear, your noises don't make me nervous. It's my noises that make me nervous.
Hmm.
Oh,
No,
I
they're all
So
fine.
don't feel too bad that your dog's being
Yeah,
a
yeah.
dog.
Absolutely not.
I just kind of had to focus sometimes, and then she just is just like, "Oh, you're sitting here. Let's play. Come on."
Yeah.
It's like,
She's a
I
baby.
can't right now.
She's such a baby. You have such pretty hair, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah.
got that compliment from one of my friends the other day, and I'm just like, "Oh, it's not quite where I want it, but I appreciate."
Mhm.
When I was watching your video earlier, though, I just kept being like, damn, that's some nice hair.
I know. I like your like signature makeup look too.
Yeah, I actually don't put a whole lot on. Like I'll
Mhm.
do like a light foundation sometimes. Right now I just have like blush and eyeliner on.
Mhm.
That's
Your eyeliner is really good though. It's always
It is.
whenever I worked at the pizza joint I worked at, I got that compliment all the time from
Yeah.
everyone that came in.
Yes.
And I was just like, is it really that good?
It's really good. We
It's
have
just practice.
someone in our Discord who's learning eyeliner, and she has like learned so much so fast. But like,
Yeah.
I remember how hard that struggle bus is when you first start eyeliner.
I mean, whenever I first started, I thought I was going to nearly poke my eyes out a couple times, but
Oh, I did poke my eye once. And I still like to this day, every now and then, like I don't know what happened. Every now and then, just like my eye will start watering so much. Like ever since I did that, the doctor says my eye is fine, but it's interesting.
But your eye says it's not so sure.
Just the eye is having a trauma response.
The eyes have it.
And I'm a little amazed I was ever able to do it, because like growing up, like ever since I was little, it all started with the Even Stevens Halloween special with the eye doctor. Ever since then, I've always had a phobia with things getting near my eyes. And I didn't think that I'd ever be able to do eyeliner, but I apparently can do it well now. So
yeah, that's all
it's
practice.
So nice to hear a reference I get, because I work with 7th graders, and you said Even Stevens, and I was like, oh yes,
yeah, seriously, I feel that. And the other thing we like to start off with every time is, do you have a trans moment of joy that you want to share with us?
Well, I'm not sure, but yesterday...
The one you shared in the Discord?
No, this is a different one. But
we'll share that too, because that one's
I'll
really
go ahead
good.
and I'll share that after this one. But like,
yeah,
this is kind of a more silly one. But I ordered like a new vacuum and everything. I got it. I was like getting all excited. I was like, oh, it's like really cool vacuum. And my girlfriend's just like, you're being such a mom right now. And I'm just just like, okay, I guess I've just reached a certain point. Reach a certain point where vacuums excite me. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
but
no, the silly little things are huge though.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I put in Discord was like one of my friends who is also does YouTube videos and stuff. They just private messaged me and was just like, your eyes look so much healthier than they did when we first met, and like was just congratulating me and telling me how beautiful I looked and healthy I looked since I started transitioning, because I've been on estrogen now for like I started in April, so that's like 6 months now.
6 months?
A little
Something
over
like
6
that.
months.
Yeah, like half a year.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, hearing that was amazing. Like I've felt healthier, but like whenever I actually hear someone say it, I know it's not just in my head.
Yeah, I got a lot of that too. Like I was saying before, like I've had so many people that I've known for a long time, like see pictures of me now, or like see me in person, and they're just like, I feel like I'm seeing you smile for the first time. Like you finally feel like you're a happy person or whatever, which I'm not necessarily like perceiving that myself, but just like the fact that so many people say that means like, you know, maybe like coming out and transitioning is a good thing for you.
Yeah, just maybe, it's just maybe something to think about.
Yeah. There's there's a woman on TikTok who her wife is a trans woman. She came out like a little bit into their marriage, so like similar experience to me. She was talking about her wife coming out as trans, and she was like, the transition has been so good for her. I'm going to show you before and after pictures. She's like, not pictures of my wife, pictures of myself that my wife has taken of me before and after transitioning.
Yeah, I saw.
And just like, yeah. And it's so like beautiful, cute. Like the pictures that she took of her, like before and after, is just, she's like, when I look at these pictures of myself, like I can like see how much more like alive she is.
Post transition, she's been taking pictures of me. She's been taking candid. And the next photo I'm going to show you is a picture she took yesterday. We were on a hike. Okay. I am wiping a tear from my eye because my eyes were watering so bad from allergies. I'm not posing. I didn't direct the setup. I was just living. And she got this. This is like the candid of my dreams. Not only do I look fucking hot as hell, but like the composition and this like light leak. And so overview, this is the photo my wife took before transition. And this is the photo after. So yeah, major upgrade.
Like, we don't always notice that in ourselves, but like everybody that we know, that I've known like before them coming out, who comes out, I'm just like, even if they have like a really rough life or whatever, I'm like, you seem so much more alive now. It's like beautiful.
That's
Yes.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with you.
Oh.
Like, I know you've heard it before, but like,
Yeah.
I know you're the same person, but you're also entirely different to interact with in a very, very good way.
Yeah.
You were still cool before, but like, you're much
Yeah.
more you.
Yeah, because Ben and I met for the first time probably like not that long, maybe like 6 months or something, like before I came out.
Yeah.
Just long enough for me to know there's a difference. That's it.
Yeah. Like, I
But
mean,
yeah.
that was kind of similar with like one of my childhood friends. I didn't, well, that's not entirely true. I did tell him one point whenever I was like 17 that I was questioning things, but I didn't have it quite figured out yet. And then afterwards, I just like, just forget it. It's fine. You don't have to talk about this. And then after I moved, I brought it up to him. I'm just like, so remember that thing from years ago? And he's just kind of like, not really, but that's fine. You could go. And I was just like, oh yeah. So I'm trans, and like I've been transitioning for the last several months, and then I sent a picture, and he's just like, wow, you look great. Like, you look much better than you did before.
Yeah. Like, oh,
I think
this
the
is you.
light in the eyes
yeah.
is very real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like meeting you for the first, like,
Mm-hmm.
they know you, but they're like seeing you like in the flesh for the first time.
Yeah.
How long ago did you come out?
Well, that is a complicated question. But I'll go ahead and answer it to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
I actually did come out for the first time to a kind of long distance friend whenever I was 17. Because I had actually had it. It was kind of a lie what I said earlier. I had actually had it figured out by the time I was 17, but like I was just telling a lot of people that I was questioning things. But there was one person I did fully come out to. I'm still friends with him to this day. He's also trans. He figured it out later on. And I also tried coming out to my parents at that time. Did not go well. I'm just going to say that. That did not go
when
great.
you were 17?
Yeah. Did not go great. There's a lot of complicated things there. That kind of left me with a lot of emotional baggage to work through for the next several years. And then I tried coming out to them again after I had turned, this was in 2019. So I was in my 20s at that point. The time gets kind of blurry, especially around that time. But I'd come out to them again. I was still living with them. That really didn't go well. But like the thing that actually got me to get through that and decide to just, to hell with it and come out, online in my like online persona and everything as well was this is going to sound ridiculous. I actually went to go see M. Night Shyamalan's Glass, and that movie, I was kind of a blubbering mess by the time it was over, because it was kind of the movie I needed to watch at that time, because I was dealing a lot with, things like gaslighting and people trying to convince me I wasn't something I knew I was. And
Yeah.
That's kind of what that whole movie is about. So I just really latched on to that, and that ended up being my favorite movie of the year because of it. And I just kind of decided at that point it was time for me to just come out. And everyone that I knew in my online circles and everything, because I actually had a channel before the one I have now.
Mhm.
I'm going to get into that in my next video, but um, I I had a very small presence online beforehand. So whenever I came out, I was expecting like a lot of negativity, because that's kind of what I had in my personal life.
Yeah.
But I actually had a lot of positivity, and that was kind of what got me through a lot of things. And that's also how I met my girlfriend Jenny, was whenever I started a new channel under my new name and as myself and everything. And since then it's been great. Like um since moving, I'll be honest, I still haven't brought the thing up with my parents again. I've just avoided that conversation
Mhm.
For a lot of different reasons. But like I don't know, like I live across the country, so I don't really, I don't know. I'm living my life how I want to live it, so I don't
Yeah.
necessarily care to talk about that right now with them. But
Yeah, exactly.
um it's been great. Like I basically have kind of built my own family here with Jenny and uh her family, who have been great and very supportive of me and her both. And it's really weird, because like I don't know how familiar either you are with that at all, but like it's really weird going from really conservative family members that aren't
Yeah.
Mhm.
that accepting or understanding of it, and then you go into this new family and it's just like, hey, holy shit, okay, so this is fine, okay.
Mhm.
I actually had like
I
a meltdown once meeting an ex's parents because this ex was awesome and his
Mhm.
parents were a Broadway family and all artists, and their family was so cool and accepting that I ended up like sobbing on their couch because it was just like a family can be
Mm,
like this. It's so wild.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
I feel bad for that
seriously.
guy's dad because he had to see that and just be awkward.
Mhm.
Oh no.
Shout out to Jeff.
It's like,
That's the dad.
I'm not sad, you're just all wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think we have a lot of shared experience when it comes to the family issues.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm gonna get into that too in depth,
Yeah,
but like how we
sure.
started talking was just me slowly figuring out that there was more issues I didn't know about. So,
Hmm.
and it's not my story to tell, it's someone else's.
Yes,
So
same.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, because you were kind of saying on TikTok, you were saying really indirect things about some of the things that you're going for, like not giving any details or whatever.
Hmm.
But I was going through slash have been going through a lot of very similar things.
Hmm.
And just the way you were talking, I just like the vibe. I DM'd you as like, this is my situation. Is that your situation, Ish? And you were like, yes.
Hmm.
And yeah. So I'm sorry that that's like the situation that you are in, but it's also still nice to be able to connect with somebody else with like a similar background and everything. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's great though where I'm at now. Like I
Mhm.
seriously didn't think I'd ever be here because like I
Yes.
knew I was trans for like 10 whole years before I actually transitioned. So
Mhm.
yeah.
It's a long wait too.
Mhm.
Yeah. What was your journey leading up to that? Like, as far as your like figuring out that you were trans journey, like,
You know, it was kind of complicated because like I mean everything about this is complicated, but like
yeah.
uh, for some people it seems it's not whenever I hear their stories, but like then there's a lot of other ones where it is complicated. But like um whenever I was little and everything, I kind of got an immediate impression that, you know, transness and just queerness in general was just not good. It was off the table. So I never really thought of
Yeah.
it. I never really had that, you know, thought of like maybe that's what I was because, well, that's just not something to consider. So, like, I never really thought of it until I was, you know, a bit older, like whenever I was in my teens and I was like, something's just a tiny bit off because like I mean, not like any of this stuff is specifically gendered or anything, but like I was particularly, you know, attracted to like my mom's makeup and everything like that, and I was kind of curious about that stuff. And one thing my dad did, whatever he noticed that was to just be like, "Oh well, you just like stuff like you know, like face paint, like war paint, stuff like that," and like tried
Okay.
putting me in that direction. And it was
Mhm.
just like, no,
They tried.
yeah, like, and and then like there would be certain situations where movies that um me and my mom would go see together, it'd actually be something that I was pretty interested. Like 13 going on 30 was one. I
Mhm.
Yes.
that was a big one for me. Um, wasn't really as big for me because I wasn't particularly fond of it, but like the Hannah Montana movie was one that we went to go see together, and Mamma Mia as well.
Hmm.
But like I don't want to come off as too stereotypical there because like I do have a lot of other interests. Like I am gravitated towards horror and stuff like that, but like
Mhm.
I did find that especially like in terms of the types of movies my dad was interested in, it was like always like westerns and war movies, and it's just like I don't like, I like maybe
Why
like
is
two
it
or
in my
three of these,
brain? I
but it's
was
not
thinking
really
the
like
words historical, and that's what you said. Yeah.
like I don't know, like he would try to get me to like some of the stuff that he liked, and there would be some things that overlap, but I always found myself relating more with my mom in a lot of different ways, and that kind of started kind of the little seed in the back of my head. And then whenever I got older, I actually started realizing from other people, like I believe it was Cher's son Chaz was on Dancing with
Yeah,
the
Chaz.
Stars,
Yeah.
and then I learned that the Matrix directors were trans, and I
Mhm.
was just like, wait, you can actually do that? Like
Hmm.
that's actually like a thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like this dress up thing. Like you,
Mhm.
and whenever I learned that, I just kind of thinking about it more. It's like, I don't know. This is I'm not quite sure. And then I, looked up certain things online, and I came across like YouTube channels like Princess Jules, and then that's whenever it's just like, shit.
Holy
I'm
shit. You just recovered a memory of me watching her before I knew I was trans.
yeah.
Why was I interested in this if I wasn't trans?
So weird.
hmm
Why is my YouTube algorithm diagnosing me as transgender?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what happened. Like it was whenever it was also whenever I actually first started watching, YouTube regularly, because I actually grew up with a dial-up internet, so I couldn't really watch YouTube videos. And then it was after I got my first cell phone, and like I actually had unlimited data and everything and could do that. And so whenever I was looking into that stuff, I came across channels like Princess Jules and like I believe Samantha Lux. Whenever she first started her transition, I came across her videos. And that's really whenever it kind of hit me. I was just like, oh shit, I'm trans. And so then I had to figure out how exactly I was going to come out, and that's what led to everything else. But like it's really weird looking back on it, because it's just like, had I not had like the conservative upbringing, I probably would have figured it out a lot sooner. But then again, maybe not. It's kind of hard to tell. But,
Very relatable.
Yeah, you're such like a fusion of Ben and my stories.
Yeah, it's wild. Like there's a spectrum here, not gender spectrum, but like experience spectrum, and like you're smack dab in the middle of us. It is incredible.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like Ben is thinking about this too, but I love that M. Night Shyamalan was part of your story.
As soon as she said that, I was like, podcast canon.
Yes, it's podcast canon, because we talk about M. Night Shyamalan all the time, because I don't even remember what creator I got this from originally, but the general idea is just so many trans people have this experience that's like the end of The Sixth Sense, or like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, where it's like you have that moment where you see that, in your case, you see that representation and you make that connection, and you're like, oh, that is me. But then at that point, you'd like kind of look back on all your memories, like from your life before, and you're like, it's so obvious, like all of the clues are here, like you just didn't have something to connect them together. But
like, oh, that was trans, that was trans, that was trans, all the way up and down, that was all trans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it is like a classic M. Night Shyamalan twist, where like where the reveal happens and you're just like, wait. And you kind of look back, it's like, damn it, it was always like, there. Obviously. Why didn't I see it sooner?
Like, obviously.
Yeah. In my case, people were telling me I was trans that, like, they weren't really my friends, but they were just like, you clearly want to be a boy, including one of my college professors. And I fought so hard. I was like, no, that's not me. It took so long.
Yeah, it was actually one thing that happened before I actually figured out I was trans. Is just like, well, before that, I admitted to myself, but like after I started figuring out what trans was and everything, I believe I had a conversation with one of my cousins or whatever about this, and I'm not sure how it came up. Maybe it was because like there was like a trans person in the store that we saw or something. I don't really remember, but he was talking about how like clearly this person had to get surgery to get like boobs and stuff. I'm just like, you do know that like you can just grow breasts from like medication, right? Like that. And just like, no, that's not how it works. I'm just like, the human body is like more complicated than that. Like, I mean, and then I got mean. Keep in mind, I'm like a 15-year-old teenager, so I don't have the tact that I do now. But I was just like, I mean, look at you, for example. Like you actually have like some smaller some tissue there. Like you have boobs, and then just like, and he got pissed off at that point. So it's just like, maybe I could have handled that better. But like, I was 15. So
maybe he needs some gender affirming care.
But like I grew up around a lot of very insecure men. So I was very much the oddity in that regard, where like a lot of that stuff never really fazed me the way they wanted it to faze me, you know? And it took me a while to realize it's like, oh, that's why. I mean, it did faze me, but in a different way. Like, whenever I was a bit younger and still kind of questioning things, but didn't quite figure it out yet, what did I bring up? I think it was like a really, really old Superman comic issue where like he ends up in like a alternate dimension where everyone's gender is reversed.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought that up with one of my friends at school, and ex-friends now, and this is why. Basically he used the F slur on me, and it's just like, okay, not going to talk to you anymore. You're not a safe person to talk to. And I didn't really realize why at the time. I just knew that was an unsafe environment. But I don't know. But like that was kind of something it was something I was always kind of interrogating. Like I was always pushing that boundary, even whenever I didn't really have the language for it yet. And like, I just would always frustrate the people around me because I was constantly surrounded by very insecure conservatives and insecure men that had like no real understanding of any of this stuff. And, you know, it just got to the point, and thankfully now I don't really think about that stuff anymore because where I live now, I'm not around people like that. So, but yeah, I kind of find humor in it now, even as messed up as it can be. But
it's because you're safe now.
Yeah.
It's easier to find shitty things funny when you're safe.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I do kind of hope that kid that I was friends with is better now. I don't communicate with him, but the reason why I hope he's better now is because he has like, I think 3 kids now. So it's just like, oh God, please be a better person than you were whenever we were kids.
Yeah, that's the next generation, and we need them to fix what the previous generations have destroyed.
Yeah.
We need them so badly. Please, children, do the right thing.
As for me, I'm okay not having kids.
Yeah,
that was one thing that my doctor asked me whenever I first started. It's like, no, I'm good. I don't need kids. I'm fine. I'm good with dogs.
I love other people's kids, but I also love waking up when I want.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like
not at 4 a.m. because someone's throwing up on my face. Besides my cat, but that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different whenever it's a cat or a dog because like they I don't know, are just cuter. But with kids, it's like I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I like other people's kids. I think that they're great. And, you know, if, you know, they need a hand or whatever with anything, I'll gladly help. But like, I do not want any of my own. I'm fine. My girlfriend's dad, actually, I think it's whenever their neighbor and my former boss's kids showed up at their house, like they were begging her for like a cat, like begging, and she's just like, we can't really do that right now. Like I understand why, but we can't really do that right now. Sorry. It's just like, and it's like, oh please, but we'll do this and this and this and this, and we'll make sure to do all that. And it's just he looked to me, like my girlfriend's dad looked at me, and it's just like, you want kids? And I'm just like, I'm good.
Yeah, and you should ask those kids if they're going to pay $3,000 when the cat has an intestinal blockage.
Oh no.
It was $4,000, but
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about my cat's broken penis and not your cat's broken stomach.
Oh no.
oh no,
He gets urinary
poor
blockages from
cat.
struvite crystals, so
Oh,
it's very expensive.
That's...
And my cat likes to eat hair ties and rubber bands.
Her favorite food. She doesn't like food. She wants
So
rubber.
good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I keep getting paranoid with Pumpkin, like my dog, that she's gonna actually have an intestinal blockage, because no matter what I do to try to get her to stop, she will eat her toys.
But how are you supposed to put a
This-
kid through college when you got to put a cat through the vet or a dog or whatever?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah,
Gotta
exactly.
Yeah.
And like
in this economy?
and me and Jenny have had like this conversation too. And she's kind of in the same boat as me. She's like, "Oh, no, I don't want kids. I like having things."
I like having fun. That is
Yeah.
my own fun and not someone
Yeah.
else's fun.
Like, one thing she likes to do all the time is she collects comic books. And so like one thing with having kids that terrifies her is just like kids getting like Cheeto hands on books and ripping pages out, and it's just like, ah!
You and your girlfriend might be the coolest couple.
Oh,
Like,
well.
you've got the comic books, you've got the filmmaking, you've got horror movies, you've got great eyeliner, you've got a dog, you got 2 dogs. Like, incredible.
Mhm.
Wow.
But the eyeliner.
Okay, eyeliner
And-
is so hard.
she's
Yes.
kind of and she's not wrong, but basically she has described herself as basically kind of being what was it? I know one of the examples is like a gender swapped Eddie Brock with how she, because like she's not like a super stylish person at all, and she's kind of just more introverted. So like she's described herself as that, because like she just kind of wears like a hoodie and a sock hat, and just like, I don't know, she's adorable though. I love her. But
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like I'm just like on the other end of that. I constantly am just like trying to make sure I have like a good outfit, that I look fine, and just like, and she doesn't quite understand that sometimes, like whenever
Mhm.
like I'm getting ready like long before we have to go anywhere. And she's just like, "What are you doing? We don't have to leave for like another like 40 minutes." It's just like, I like to get ready. I like to
Yeah.
be sure that I look nice for the day. Like
Mhm.
like I know you're a bit more of a tomboy, but like it's that's not me at all.
I didn't realize like until after coming out how much of like a girly girl I would be.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You're so girly.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense because you are a
It's funny.
girl.
Those little, yeah. Yeah. This is very appropriate.
But yeah, I don't know. Aside from that, like you guys said, like we kind of have similar interests in terms of like films and stuff like that, and like, I mean, we both like the three of us, we brought up M. Night Shyamalan, and just like he's actually one of my favorite writers and directors. Period. Like he has like maybe 3 movies I don't like, but aside from that, like I do like most.
I agree. I haven't
Mhm.
seen all of them, but most of them that I've seen I really liked. Is it The Village is one that I found very silly.
Yeah, that one's a bit divisive, I find. I quite like it. I heard that they're getting like a new Blu-ray 4K release of it finally after, geez, I don't know how many years. So I'm excited to get that, but also it is one of those movies where I find people have wildly different opinions on it.
I need to rewatch it again because I am literally an entirely different person than last time I saw it. And like
Mhm.
I'm watching things that I watched even 3 years ago again. And I'm getting entirely
Yeah.
new meaning with the new experience I have.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like as I got older, I kind of started seeing it more as like a movie about like, because keep in mind, like all of his movies take place in Pennsylvania, or most of them at least, except for like Last Airbender and After Earth. But all of them do take place in his home state. And like in Pennsylvania, there is actually a larger Amish community, and that's kind of where a lot of the inspiration came from there. And he's kind of like tapping into this idea of like parents and elders putting up like this big farce to try and preserve the innocence of their children, even though like that's just impossible to keep locked in a box forever.
I think I'm gonna love this movie next time I see it.
Yeah,
I need to go watch.
And like it gets really
Very
interesting,
familiar,
and
I'm from Pennsylvania.
I want to do a whole video essay on it because like it's one of those.
I was gonna say I'm looking forward to like the Gwendolyn hot takes on it.
Yeah, I am gonna become addicted to your channel. You are just you talk in a language that fits in with what I need in my life.
Yeah, like the big thing is like I wanted to do like video essays on movies that, which is funny because I realize that I'm one of the more quote unquote pretentious people of my previous movie friend groups and everything. But I realize I have a lot more of a, I guess, normie perspective while digging deeper into them, because like I wanted to have a channel that like didn't feel like it was, you know, as much as I do find value in places for things like diving deep into like film theory and, you know, like deeper studies into like postmodern stuff like that. And I think that there's value in that. But like the stuff that I wanted to do was much more like dive into movies on a deeper level that more average viewers can like understand, and not like had to do like an entire film course with them. Because I'll be honest, like I wasn't able to afford going to like film school and everything, so like I never had like that formal education or anything. But like
film school dropout right here.
But
true story.
Like, yeah, you'll have to fill me in on that if you want. Like I know like someone that did go to Full Sail, and he like shoots commercials and stuff now, but I don't know. That's really what I wanted my channel to be, because I find like whenever I'm in conversations with people, I don't like get into like the deep like
the
technical aspects of it. Like the stuff that interests me more is like the little fun facts and like just the general themes and character elements that could kind of relate to people more on an emotional level, and like try and find a way to relay that to people, because like I find that that's how I actually talk to people about movies.
Yeah, for sure.
It's great. Yeah. And you are so funny.
One of my favorite videos of all time is the Onion film review of Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
I don't think I've seen that, but I'm already laughing because it sounds hilarious.
It's so good. Yeah, go watch it after this. But it's so funny because like the film reviewer is just like essentially like tearing apart everybody who like criticized the movie. And he's like, can't you just enjoy something for 1 minute of your life? Just like calm down. Sometimes it doesn't need to be so serious. Just enjoy something for 1 damn minute.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so good.
Like I've found like some more snobby film fans who will talk about stuff like, oh, well, just letting people enjoy things is part of the problem with film. And it's just like, no, just stop. It's fine. Like people, like it's okay to like ask people to have a bit more of like an observant critical eye on things, but you know, allow them to still enjoy it. Like, I mean, for instance, like I get into this in one of the videos I did last year on a terrible movie, and I'm not going to get into depth with the entire movie, but like Sound of Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Hate that movie. But like I got into that because it was a movie that was actually, taking in a lot of people. A lot of people were really, watching that movie and responding to it well. And like I made that video because like I wanted people to think critically about like what the movie was actually doing and relaying to them through its
Mm-hmm.
messaging, because like whenever you actually examine the movie and its intentions, it's propaganda. It's very well done propaganda, but that's exactly what it is. And it's kind of damaging right-wing propaganda. And like that's kind of more of what I kind of want people, whenever they watch movies and everything, is like try and understand like where their emotions are actually stemming from whenever they're watching something as well, because that is important. Because I find that some movies can be very manipulative, and sometimes it's not for any, you know, bad purpose, but other times it can be quite malicious. And in cases
Mm-hmm.
like movies like that, they can be very malicious. And
Yeah.
that kind of it, like my goal with that and like other things is like I want people to have fun and talk about movies in a fun way, but at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, just be like, understand that sometimes a movie does not have their best interest as an audience member.
Yeah, there's a whole spectrum in between like your situation where you're trying to like keep people from getting too carried away with like the propaganda being promoted there.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other end, like Neil deGrasse Tyson ruining Interstellar for everybody who just wanted to watch a fun movie.
Yeah, like that's it. I remember that. I remember when that
Mhm.
happened, and I didn't watch that movie whenever
Actually,
it came
that's not
out.
how gravity works.
Yeah, like I didn't watch that movie for the longest time. All I had to go off as a point of reference was Neil deGrasse Tyson's thing.
Mhm.
And then years later I watched a movie and it made me cry. Like it's a
Yeah.
great movie, and
And I still haven't watched it.
yeah,
And I need to watch it.
it's
I think
much
I saw that one in
more,
theaters.
yeah, like if you're looking at things from a technical point of view, you're not going to get what you need to get from that movie. Like it's
Mhm.
much more like an emotionally driven story at its core. Even whenever some of the technical stuff doesn't make sense, that emotion really does take you all the way through.
Yeah, because suspension of disbelief is like a whole element of it
Yeah.
that we're all aware of,
Mhm.
but it's like like the train isn't really coming towards the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that's so much of what film is,
Yeah. Yeah, it's all
and
an
like,
illusion.
yeah, I took this like film criticism class in school, which the takeaway I got from the like higher level film criticism class basically was, instead of like pedantry and like turning me into like a snob about like, oh, you don't really understand what's going on in this movie or whatever, like what it did for me instead was give me like another dimension for things that I could appreciate
Mm-hmm.
in films, And then like when I'm in a room with people who didn't go to film school, who are just enjoying the movie,
Mm-hmm.
instead of like being able to have that superpower of ruining every movie for people, I can instead be like, did you notice this thing happening?
Mm-hmm.
Like this like cool technique that they're doing.
Yeah.
Like the color tone of everything, I feel like it's really representing such and such. And then people are like, oh yeah, that's really cool. And you get that whole like extra artistic level to it.
Yeah, and like
This is
also
us
something
talking
that
about I saw the TV glow.
oh god, that movie broke me whenever I watched it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh god, it's
We
so
just
good.
did like a whole episode on it.
yeah. It's really good. Like I really it's in my top 5 of the year so far easily. Like I still have a lot of
Yeah.
movies I
I
need
think
to
it's in my
see. I
top 5
really
of all
want to.
movies.
Oh wow. I I have a hard time getting in like that for me personally. Like my favorite movies of all time list is constantly shifting, and it's basically like forcing me to choose between my children, and I can't.
But I would choose between my children. That's part of why I won't have children.
Screw you, Todd.
Stormy is my favorite. Everyone knows.
Yeah. Oh, heard one of them, but
yeah, it's him.
I don't know. Like, I just something that happened recently in one of the videos I'm doing is like I have to cover movies I really hate in one specific section. And the thing is like whenever I do that, I don't like to just be a negative Nancy, I guess. Like, I want to try and find a way, like, even if I can't say anything nice about the movie I'm talking about, like, I want to redirect people's attention to something similar that I can say a lot of nice things about. Like, for instance, one of the movies I talk about is that Daily Wire Gina Carano Western movie. And it's just like, okay, this movie's bad. I really don't like it. But if you want a good movie that does tackle some of these ideas similarly, I have two different options for you. There's Seraphim Falls with Pierce Brosnan and Liam Neeson, which is really great. And then there's a very triggering movie, but Jennifer Kent's The Nightingale. Like, I'm not going to get into everything with that. Like, but that movie is very, very hard to watch. But like, it's a great movie that does tackle kind of the revenge film concept in a very classy way, and like centers its story on a female protagonist. And it I mean, this is from the director of the Babadook, so like it's very
gay icon, the Babadook.
Okay. Happy Pride, Babadook.
Yeah.
so like there's some pretty disturbing nightmare sequences and everything in the movie, but like it is very good. And I wanted to point to that because like I hate being the negative person, even whenever a movie deserves it. Because like at the end of the day, people still worked on it, and there has to be at least one person on that crew that wasn't a bad person.
Yeah.
Is Gina Carano the lady who was on Star Wars and then got canceled because she sucked?
She's the one from The Mandalorian that went full.
Yeah. That's what I meant by Star Wars.
Yeah.
Transphobe. Yeah.
Because the video you're working on now is about like cancel culture.
Yeah, I'm focusing on like the anti-woke crowd and media criticism and everything like that, because like I was never going to talk about this until, ironically, a video ended up in my recommended feed where one of these guys was trashing I Saw the TV Glow, and it's literally the worst review I've ever seen in my life. And I was just like, now I have to talk about this. And so I decided to just turn it into this entire thing. And I think the video is going to be around 2 hours. Like, it's that long.
How dare you defame the name of Jane Schoenbrunn?
Like, it's I'm gonna say right now, like it's a video that does deal with a lot of bigoted people, so, and including someone I used to know. So that's gonna be fun. And that's why I said I was gonna be getting into my channel prior to the one I currently have, because it's like one of the guys I talk about is someone that I used to collaborate with before he went full right wing. And this is a guy that was actually on like Steven Crowder and stuff like that. So like, yeah, he's bad news now.
Bad.
Yeah.
I've left an embarrassing number of comments on Bad. I Saw the TV Glow reviews by cis men saying like, you didn't get it because it wasn't for you. Shut up.
Like it.
Yeah.
the thing is like the movie's very aware that most people will not get it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like that last scene, which is the scene that ultimately broke me, is whenever like it fully reveals, like, just like, yeah, we know most of you aren't going to get it. You're not going to care.
Yeah.
That's
almost about that directly.
That part I think about so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that feeling.
Yeah. Like, I was telling Jenny about it. She's just like, I'm good. Like, I don't want to be depressed by a movie right now. I'm not going to watch this movie, I don't think. And I understand that. Like mileage varies on stuff like that. She's someone that prefers more happy and fun entertainment, and which is very ironic considering how if you were to base our tastes in film based off of what each of us look like, you would think that she was the one that was more into depressing movies, but no, that's me.
Hey, stereotypes are meant to be broken.
Yeah. She, by the way, she is actually writing a comic book series right now.
Does she do art too, or is she just doing the writing part?
No, she has aphantasia, so she can't really visualize things that well, so she doesn't really do artwork. But like, she has like,
fair,
I think 7 issues of the comic written by now, and she's working with her brother to do like character designs and stuff like that. And it's very, very gay, I'll say that.
It's amazing.
I'm allowed to say what the title of the comic is. I'm not allowed to say anything else. But the one thing that she is very open about is that it's Rainbow Boy, which is
me?
like
maybe the Rainbow Boy.
Like, it's she's obsessed with like really old public domain superheroes that never really got their time to shine, and Rainbow Boy is actually a character from that era of comics, and she's just like, yoink, I'm gonna take that and take the already unintentional gay aspect of it and make it very explicit.
Love that.
So cool.
Like, it's pretty fun. Like, it's a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for her to actually be able to get like the first few issues done whenever she eventually can do that. But like, I'm really proud of her. Like, she really goes all in on that. On the other hand, I have a hard time writing. As hard as that sounds, as hard as that is to believe, like, I have a hard time writing a lot of time, and I need a partner to help me through stuff like that a lot of time. Like, I have like, I finally finished like a feature screenplay earlier this year.
I was going to ask you about that because I saw you post about that, but like,
yeah, I finished that earlier this year, and I would never have gotten it done without my friend Josh, who is amazing. I love him to death. He lives down in El Paso. He's he's like one of my closest friends ever. He's great. He's probably like the one who feels as closely to film in the same way I do. Like, he has a video essay channel. One of my favorite videos of his is a video on Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. It's a great video. I really love it. But he is in the process of finishing post-production on a short film that he based off of an issue of Daredevil comics, but it's not like a fan film or anything. It's just like, he took like the general idea of the issue and was just like, okay, I want to do an original story off of this. And it's all in Spanish. Because like
That's awesome.
he's actually adopted, so like he doesn't have as much of an understanding of the Spanish language as, you know, his biological relatives who like actually grew up in Mexico and stuff. So like this short film of his was kind of just like something that he wanted to do to kind of reconnect with that in some way. And I've actually helped with the sound editing and stuff on it, and it's really good. I'm really looking forward to everyone being able to see that whenever it's done.
It's amazing.
But yeah, I don't know. It's
Can you still hear me? Because my internet's being weird.
yeah, it can hear you. Like sometimes it's a little.
I kicked my husband off of his computer and the wireless on his phone. I made him turn off the computer and turn off Wi-Fi.
This is like the
Sorry,
old
no
days,
gaming,
like
honey.
you were talking about. Yeah. Like you were talking about dial-up internet before, Gwen. Like,
Yep.
hang up the phone. I'm trying to instant message.
I have a question that you are welcome not to answer because you were talking about it being for a future video, but you mentioned you wanted to do a video on movies that helped you like realize you were trans, and it was a wild list. I was wondering if there was any amount of preview about like what some of the weirder movies might be, but you're welcome not to as well. Save it for the
I'm fine talking. There's like three main.
It's embargoed, Ben.
Yeah, like there's three main videos. Well, not three main videos. Three main movies that I'm covering, but the one that I don't think people are really gonna register that when I immediately hear it's Avatar. It sounds a little weird.
I feel like
M. Night Shyamalan Avatar or
James Cameron
Avatar. Oh
yeah, like the reason why that one kind of hit is like that was whenever I really started thinking about it, and it was just like it was the feeling of like going from this kind of declining mortal shell almost into like this new body where you could actually just like live and be alive for the first time than you have been in years. And like seeing that scene with like Jake Sully running through the fields, like that scene like kind of opened me up. It's just like this really connects with me and I don't really know why. And as I brought up 13 going on 30 earlier, that was one of them. And
great
then
movie. I love it.
The one that finally broke my egg was this. Honestly, I don't think anyone except for trans people knows this movie exists. It's a small little indie comedy called Zerophilia.
Oh no, I failed the trans test.
I mean, a lot of people don't know about it. It's fine. Like, but like,
I'm gonna watch it now. But do tell.
Basically, it sounds raunchy whenever I put it in this context, but essentially, it's about like this teenager learning that he can change gender whenever he climaxes. It sounds raunchy, but like I swear to God,
that
like this movie,
funny.
It is funny, but like it actually, like this came out in like the early 2000s, and this is very weirdly like it's incredibly nuanced in both its explorations of gender and sexuality for an early 2000s comedy, and like it kind of ends in this way where it's just like gender and sexuality is this really fluid thing and it doesn't really matter in the end. All that matters is the person that you're in love with, and like it's just like really bizarre. And it was kind of a revolutionary concept for me as a teenager, and I watched that. It's just like,
yeah,
holy shit, this is it. Like this is like a very eye-opening movie, and like this came out in like I think 2002, so like that's insane, honestly, because like a lot of comedies then were, explicitly queerphobic, transphobic. It was not really a great time in terms of comedy in that regard. But like this movie in particular, just I imagine that there's some problematic things. I haven't seen the movie in years, but it's one of those little obscure pieces of cinema that a lot of people don't really know about. And it is definitely a movie that I feel would be a massive egg cracker for a lot of people in a bit more of a lighthearted way than I Saw the TV Glow, I guess.
I have a question that's going to sound like a joke, but it's not a joke. When the character was changing from like female to male, was it harder? Because like,
yes,
famously, and in my own lived experience, I know this, it is much more difficult to orgasm when, you don't just have a teeth-driven penis.
It does actually end up being harder. Yeah, because like has to basically kind of get to that place mentally rather than just physically.
Yeah,
it's just like
that is the issue.
Really fun. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna have to see this because it took me until like my mid-20s before I even knew.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. Like it's one of those movies. I just randomly stumbled across that movie like on YouTube, like whenever I was like 16, 17, and I think it's on like stuff like YouTube and Internet Archive still, but
I'll find a way.
But yeah, it's a fun movie. From what I remember, at least, I could be way off base, and this movie could be terrible now. But I don't know.
You've kind of awoken a memory for me, which is when I was in like 4th grade, there was, I guess it would be kind of like a radio drama kind of thing, but like we like listened to it in class when I was in 4th grade. And it was essentially like a big ripoff of Quantum Leap, but like for kids. And just the premise was like this kid has a thing where they will just like wake up in it's just Quantum Leap, but this kid would like wake up in the body of like a different body every day, like girl one day, boy one day, different race, different nationality. I was shockingly very obsessed with that as a 4th grader. Probably not for the reasons that it was like intended for, which is like, it's actually really cool that they were doing that kind of thing back then. Just like actively like think about the perspective of somebody who's not like you.
Yeah.
For me, I was just fixated on like, oh, I wish I had that power. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Like one episode that me and Jenny kind of connected over where we first started dating. It's just like, because we were talking about media and stuff that we watched growing up that kind of made us go, yeah, that. And one thing we both brought up was like the episode from Fairly Odd Parents when Timmy Turner switches to Tamantha Turner.
Which is such a silly name.
Yeah, to like understand or like get close with like
Brian Rietta.
Yeah, and like the episode ends with just like, oh well, boys can enjoy this stuff too, and it's fine. Which also in itself is kind of that's a good message, but also at the same time, it does kind of feel like the time period just being like, just easy now, it's fine. We're not gonna go that far. Boys can enjoy this stuff too, it's okay, which they can, and that's great. But like I find like there's certain pieces of media that are just like a bit too scared to just be like, oh, this character is probably
you didn't
not
quite put it down
straight.
But I was still picking it up.
Yeah
I love media.
One thing I want to make sure that we talk about, because this is actually this episode would be week 5 of our Halloween series, or like a BRAToween series, we are, because we are gay, we are devoting an entire month to the holiday of Halloween. But the episode that we just aired was like a lot about I Saw the TV Glow, a lot about other horror movies too.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of this whole thing is me just trying to figure out like there's a connection between queerness and horror movies.
Yeah.
I can't quite put a finger on it, but I really want to know what your perspective on that is.
I mean, yeah, like I'm kind of in the same boat. I love horror movies. I always have. I had to basically sneak some of them around my parents growing up. Like even whenever I was a teenager, my parents did not really care that I was very into horror. But like I get into this a little bit in my Exorcist video, just a little bit. I really think that a horror is a way for us to kind of live vicariously through, like traumatic experiences in a safe environment. And we oddly, like, horror is kind of a situation where, the stuff that, traumatizes us and should make us feel very unsafe, oddly we feel safer around it. And like it's kind of this paradoxical thing. And I really think that it's almost cathartic to watch horror films and like read horror books or anything like that, because like it's processing either our trauma or someone else's trauma and empathizing with it, sympathizing with it in a way that helps us grow or make peace with things that are maybe harder for us to do otherwise. Like, I mean, a big connection in horror that connects everyone is the concept of death. And like that is a concept I feel like a lot of people are really just inherently scared of at like a deep primal level. And whenever you watch a horror film, it's kind of your way of being exposed to that safely without actually being in danger. And I don't know, like then you kind of get into like other kinds of horror. Like, I mean, religious horror is a big thing. I feel like a lot of queer people have connections to horror through that, like with religious trauma and stuff like that. And that is a big thing because I don't really know how to describe that as much, but like it's even whenever like the horror movies validate certain religious beliefs, like with Exorcist validating, Christianity on many levels, but like, it's one of those things I just think is something that can connect all of us in some way and help us get through whatever we're dealing with. And sometimes it's just fun to watch, like with a slasher movie. Sometimes you just want to have a cathartic experience with watching a really terrible person get their comeuppance in some way, and you get that. And it's fun. But I don't know. That's why Jenny really loves Friday the 13th movies. I'm not as big on those, except for Jason Lives. But
I've kind of found that most of the like horror subgenres that I'm the most like drawn to are the ones that are the closest to actual trauma that I've experienced. And like I had this thought like in therapy recently, actually, that like I just made this connection, like watching a scary movie, especially if it's something that's like close to your own experience like that. Like you're watching like something about like religious trauma and you have religious trauma, or you're watching like Hereditary and thinking about your family trauma.
Oh, that movie messed me up.
Which yes, and me too. But like it's like so similar to doing trauma therapy and like just the idea of reprocessing trauma in a safe environment. And I think like you're able to like, I feel like it's harder to watch for somebody who isn't like in a place where they're working on trauma related to that thing. But like it's like you watch a horror movie about something that's really close to your experience and you're able to be like, this is on a screen. I'm making it like I'm on my couch and making a choice. I'm going to watch this thing that is difficult, but I know it's in a safe environment and I'm able to like think about these concepts in a way that it's like a little bit separate from me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that like that has been really important to me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of it could be just based on what y'all have been talking about. Part of it could be like horror movies increase it like to the ultimate exaggeration. And so it can be in the same lane as your trauma, but kind of make yours feel easier to cope with because like what you're watching is the ultimate extreme of that trauma.
I think both of you bring a lot of really good points, and you're right in some ways. Like, I mean, like the movie I wrote, like I was working on for years and years, and like I wasn't really able in a place where I could finish it. Like it just kept, getting halfway written and then rewritten and halfway written again, rewritten, and like it never got finished until after I had, started transitioning and I was actually in a safe place to finally process the things I was processing because the movie I'm trying to make is a lot about religious trauma. Like it's a lot about that and a lot of trauma related to my transness and queerness, and I was trying to find a way to get into that. And actually it's right over there, by the way. I'll just show it off.
That is a fat
It's a
movie.
script. Red Revival.
Fat in a
It's
good way, I should
100
say.
and it's 102 pages.
Pretty
but,
hot and tempting.
Yes.
Yeah, like I started
Impressive.
writing this whenever I was 17, actually.
Oh wow.
It's been in development for a very long time. It took on a lot of different forms. There was versions of this that were a lot more mean-spirited. A lot more mean-spirited, but I decided later on I didn't want it to go that way because I don't get me wrong, this script is not afraid to go to certain places, but like I wanted to make sure I was making something that while it was very traumatic in some ways, it was a way to kind of guide viewers through that in a healthy way. And like the thing I'm most proud of with this script, and it's the thing that I actually ended up getting my friend Josh on board because he loved the character as well, was my character Pastor Collins, who's the main antagonist of. He's probably one of my favorite characters I've ever put down on the page because like he's very much like the type of person that I grew up around where like they had this very hospitable surface to them, but like whenever you really got to know them, you realize that there was just something a little bit off about their personality and how they used God as a way to make themselves feel like better people, but they're just not.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
like,
gonna be great.
The reason why I wrote this was because it was after I came out for the first time and it didn't go well, and I was dealing with things, and then as sad as this is going to be to bring up, and probably pretty traumatic in some ways, I learned about the suicide of Leela Alcorn, and that really hit me like a brick, like that week that I learned about that, because it actually kind of hit me. Like, that very much could have been me if I didn't prioritize my own safety as much as I did.
Yeah.
And so, like, a lot of that frustration and that sadness and anger went into a version of this. And like, all of that time since has just been tempering it to a place I'm very happy with. And I wouldn't have gotten there without my friend, who has been an absolute, you know, like, godsend, because he's an incredible writer. And like, we just went through the entire thing together, and like, he loved everything I did, and which is weird because the version I had before him, while I like some ideas, it wasn't as great. But like, I wanted to kind of get into certain things, because for the longest time, whenever I would go to sleep, I would actually kind of have like distorted versions of, you know, those coming out experiences with my parents, in ways that just kind of devolved into nightmares quite frequently. And I had to process that in some way. And so there's a whole section in this script that actually is like a really horrifying nightmare sequence like that. And like, I've basically described it as like my personal hell, because it's kind of like, it's like having that happiness be this tangible thing that's within your grasp, and then just have it being immediately ripped away whenever you actually vocalize it. And like, now I'm in a better place, and so I can actually end it on a happy note, kind of, you know. And I don't know, like, it's a work I'm really happy with. I'm very proud of it, and right now I'm trying to get it made, and that's another big thing, because with movies you need money.
Yeah.
But
A lot of it.
that's, yes, yeah, so much. Oh my god. Me and my friend were like trying to go over like budgets for like the movie, like ways in which we could get it done. And anytime, it just gives me anxiety. Like, it's so much, because it's just like, I know I'm gonna have to reach out to people to, you know, do it, but like, it's also one of those things where it's just like, you hold on to it because you're really precious with it, and you don't want anyone to steal it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't think anyone would steal this. But because most people would take a look at it and be like, this isn't really our thing.
It's the next I saw the TV glow.
It's a bit more of a traditional narrative than that, I would think. But like, I would hope that it's that good. I don't think it will be, but you know, I that because we were talking about like horror and stuff like that, and like, that's what I found whenever I write a lot. I kind of take myself to those darker places, because it's the only way I'm kind of safe enough to go there.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a lot to really get into. And like, it's a, like I said, the script does go to very dark places, and it's not something that I think everyone will love, and it may actually be upsetting for other queer people in some places, and that's fine. But like, I think we had to allow ourselves to get messy with our art, and to go to some really uncomfortable places, because if we're not allowed to go there, then I don't think we're really being honest with ourselves that much.
Yeah.
And like, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to see like much more happy queer stories in cinema and everything. I would love to see it, but like I don't think I'm personally in the place to make that kind of thing just yet.
Mhm.
I really hope other people do it, but and that I think that's why I really like Jane Schoenbrun's work so far, because they really get that in a way where like they allow themselves to get to like these darker and messier places, but in a way that
Mhm.
still kind of has this vague sense of hope to it at the end. Potentially, it depends on how you
Yeah.
interpret it, and I really
Yeah,
like that.
the way they express like loneliness
Mm-hmm.
in a way that is almost like universal to queer people in one way or another.
Yeah. Like We're All Going to the World's Fair was a movie that, as someone that has been a content creator on YouTube for a very long time and in some ways kind of actually had a mental breakdown online, it's it's a movie that really gets into like the very uncomfortable and kind of mentally unsafe places of the internet if you
Yeah.
don't regulate it. And like also predatory people on the internet as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was kind of hard because like whenever you're watching that movie for the first time, at least my experience with the other character that is in the movie, the older man that is watching the main character's videos. The first time I watched it, I didn't fully register how predatory that character was. And I think that's because whenever you're on the internet and you're around all that stuff and you're young, you don't really pick up on everyone is not really your friend.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of personal growth to see certain things. And I like that Jane's movies allow for you to go back and see things whenever you are going through your growing pains as a person, because like people will probably watch like something like I Saw the TV Glow whenever they're early on in their journey and see it as potentially very nihilistic and very very depressing, but then later on you may actually look at it and see a message of hope in some ways, because the way I kind of look at that ending is just like it's someone that took a very long time, but now they're actually finally doing something about it. And we don't get to see that
Mm-hmm.
journey, but they're actually taking that first step finally on their own accord rather than, just curling up in a ball and dying.
The message in the end is there's still time.
Mm-hmm.
Always. As long as you're still breathing, there's still time.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was heavier than I meant in the context of the film.
No. Like, I mean, but really though, like that's
Mhm.
what the movie's like. It's what it's tackling, and it's like I know people can watch that movie and just come out of it feeling sad, like feeling like the main character has just kind of wasted away all of her chances, and that's not really what I got from that ending at all.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, it
I
just
don't
made me
know,
want to
but
be more authentically myself, so I didn't feel like I wasted all my chances.
yeah,
And I'm sorry
exactly.
about my cat.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Oh no, it's
He misses
fine.
me.
No,
Adorable.
as someone who like finally started transitioning in her late 30s, like
Mm.
that really like it's interesting. It's interesting because I'm like I turned 40 very recently.
Mm.
And so my wife and I are the same age. She like just had her birthday a month ago. We had very like opposite reactions to it, which is that she was like, my life is halfway over. And my reaction was, I am only halfway through my life. And it's like, I may have waited decades until I finally was able to like start transitioning. But I was like, I have potentially like decades left that are still like, you know, they're still there for the taking. I don't know how old like Owen was supposed to be at the end of I Saw the TV Glow. But I don't know, maybe he also had like 40, 50 years left after that. Like we don't get to see that journey. And I think Jane Schoenbrunn has talked about making a sequel to it, which could be really interesting. But like for me, from my perspective, it was heavy. And I identified a lot with like the trauma and the idea of like wasted time and wasted life. But I also really identified with the there's still time, like you come out at like there's people who come out at like 60, 70 years old and they still have a life and they get to be like trans babies at like 70 years old.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
get to have
funny
trans
because I
elders
feel like a
decades younger than
child
them.
in comparison. Yeah, exactly. But like they've lived through so much life and then they get to like have this rebirth so late in life. And like, even if they've had to suffer for so long, they still get a somewhat happy ending. So
yeah, and like I always love hearing about like stories of people actually finally getting to be themselves and be authentic, and like sometimes that story does come with a lot of baggage, but like it's all important, I think. And like people are it's unrelated. There's another movie.
that's what we're all about.
Yeah. There's another movie that I talked about on my
Tangent.
channel called Starfish. And there was one line that has stuck with me all this time. And it's just and I'm actually mutuals with the writer and director of the movie now after I did that. But like the line is something along the lines of, the thing that we're gonna miss or mourn the most are the lost stories. And like I find like what we're doing with sharing our joy and everything is doing everything to the best of our ability to keep those stories from becoming lost. And like you know, I think that's very important. So anytime someone actually comes out to live their life, it's someone getting a chance to tell their story the way they want to tell it. And like, and again, like a lot of this heavy and deep stuff that I come up with all the time, I get that just from watching movies. So yeah, like that's my connection with like a lot of these more, I guess, esoteric ideas, is just like I get that from connections I get from watching movies. I don't think I would really be where I am without them, if I'm being completely honest.
They're amazing. I absolutely adore movies.
Yeah.
I need to watch more of them. I've gotten way too YouTube focused in recent years.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I went through that phase for a while. I don't watch as much YouTube as I used to, ironically enough, even though I make YouTube videos.
It's better. Keep your stuff more authentically you.
That's how I am too. Yeah. Now that I'm like technically a YouTuber, I guess. Like, I barely watch YouTube, even though, like, especially like 2020, like so much YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like if I watch YouTube videos now, I just want to watch a video that is like a really authentic expression of a person and stuff they like.
Mhm.
I don't typically watch the for purposes of making content type videos anymore. Like I'm gonna have to do that myself just so I get more views, but like it's not the kind of stuff that I watch per se.
Mhm. I think most of the stuff that we get really good feedback on is stuff that I think felt to Ben and I like throwaway lines almost. Like people have like seriously connected to stuff that I don't remember saying.
For real. Especially with how much of a
Yes.
lag we can have.
Yeah, yes. Because we recorded a lot of these episodes like back in June. Like we recorded like a dozen episodes before we even announced the podcast. And so like I'm coming back and editing these things that I don't remember saying. Like I had to look up what episodes did we because it's been so long. And then like people are discovering these things fresh that I don't know that I ever said. But like there's this history behind me that at some point was like saying these words on camera, and it's like you never know what the random like tiny experience that you had was that is gonna like mean the world to somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you had that experience with that movie. Like there's this line from a movie that like meant the world to you, and now you get to share that thing that somebody shared with you to other people.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird whenever you do that because like whenever you create stuff, people always have like their favorite thing of yours, and it may be something like it's just like, huh, I kind of forgot that was a thing, or I didn't really care for that as much, but like whenever people connect with it, you just kind of have to accept it and move on. And sometimes it is really fulfilling whenever people really connect with something that you did, and I've been fortunate enough to have that happen quite a bit with my stuff so far, and I'm sure you guys have too. And like it's just a very surreal experience. But like I don't really know how else to put it.
Very
One
surreal.
of the most one of the most loaded phrases ever is probably "I liked your earlier work."
Yeah. Like
yeah.
I'm like, thanks, but now I'm a little bit suspicious.
Yeah, like what exactly do you mean by that? Like
Yeah.
Was it the work or was it who was producing the work? Because that was still me.
Like one comment I got, like what was it? I think it was like last week. I don't remember what video it was on, but I got this comment that was just like nothing like that, but it was just an equally suspicious thing where it's just like, are you, and then just like a dot, never mind. And I'm just like, I just sent a question mark back because I'm just like, what do you mean by that? Do you mean what I think you mean, or do you mean something else? This is very vague, and I would like some. And it's,
I don't know if it's the trans experience or if it's like a neurodivergent experience or what, but it's like constantly trying to figure out people's intentions.
I think it's a bit of
the
both.
amount of time I spend hovering the mouse back and forth over report or delete. I'm like, well, was this meant with ill intent? Was this meant with very ill intent? Or am I just misinterpreting
or
this
are they
thing?
just being a little confused or sarcastic? It's kind of hard to know sometimes. Other times it's very apparent, but
add indicator tags if you are being any bit misleading, please, internet.
Oh god, like I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting experience, is all I have to say. And I also produce and do camera work for Jenny's videos as well, because she has a YouTube channel. She does videos on comics, I believe it's just Jen the Geek. I don't know if she changed it or not.
It's cute.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. Send us the details too, because we're going to put like all of the links and everything in the description.
We love free advertising for people in the community and their loved ones.
Yeah. And her her last video was actually on Marvel and DC crossovers in Fortnite comics.
Oh no.
And
that
Fortnite
sounds like
comics.
A lot.
And like it's actually her shortest video so far.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun to make. And like you'll actually hear me and her brother in the background on all of her videos, because we kind of have like a dialogue off screen, and like that's kind of the style of her videos that we kind of talked about, because like she likes stuff like Fact Fiend and stuff, so we decided to apply a little bit of that in our own way.
That's so cute.
Yeah. But yeah, I love working on those. I think we're doing one on James Wan's Malignant, comparing it to his comic book Malignant Man that came out several years before. I think we're doing a video on that soon. I just need to finish reading the comic, which usually I love reading comics, but this comic I'm not really a fan.
The things we do for love.
Yeah.
Okay, Jamie Lannister.
The kid didn't know what hit him.
Yeah.
It was the ground.
Well.
I'm horrible.
Well, I could literally talk to you for like 6 more hours at least about movies in specific.
We've been on for, I don't know how long, like 2 hours and 19.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's plug some stuff though. Yeah. First of all, your YouTube channel, which you have more stuff coming out on soon, is...
I have it under the tag at Gwen Loves Movies, but also just the channel's name is just Gwendolyn M.J. Stone.
Mm-hmm.
And at Gwen Loves Movies is also pretty much my tag for all of my socials as well.
TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah.
Are you on the Elongated Muskrat website?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
As painful as it is sometimes, that is where most of my followers are. So I
refuse to call it what he wants me to call it.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree with the general sentiment of I will stop dead naming Twitter when Elon stops dead naming his daughter.
Same.
And talking about how this woman killed his son. Like, fuck off, Elongated Muskrat.
This man killed my social platform.
Well, actually, he did that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Your podcast, is that on?
I'm not really doing that so much anymore. It's something I tried for a while, but I couldn't really maintain it. So it just kind of, I might try it again at some point down the line. But for now, it's just my YouTube channel.
You're welcome to be on our podcast as many times as you like.
Seriously. You're amazing.
So much to talk about. Yeah.
I mean, I love being on with you guys too. You're great.
Yeah,
you're like so smart. You're so kind. You're so funny. You just dream guest.
Oh,
we only have dream guests though. We're pretty cool. So
that's great.
I could listen to you talk forever, and I will on your YouTube, especially now that you said I should watch the starfish video.
Yeah, just be warned about that one. That one does get into a bit of triggering stuff. It does warn you.
I won't watch it before bed.
Yes. I do warn people about stuff I'm going into, but it's it was made at a very dark time. I'll just say that.
Fair.
Yeah, and I'm also grateful for you for watching the deep catalog of both the Halloween and Exorcist movies, so I don't have to watch every single one of them.
Understandable.
But yes, but it was really cool being able to watch a lot of your hot takes on these movies. So we will, in the episode description, in the show notes, we're going to put all of the links to Gwen's social platforms and your girlfriends once you send that to us too.
Okay.
And then also, if you're on the Discord, we're going to put all our socials on there too.
All right.
So check that out. Thank you so much for joining us. It was really nice to like finally talk to you, like
Oh yeah, absolutely.
face to face, voice to voice. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, Robin, Ben, I really love talking to both of you too. It's like I haven't watched and listened to too many of your episodes yet, but I have listened to some of it, and I do really like the conversations that you guys have on stuff too, and it's really fun. I was actually listening to the one with Ben talking about Rocky Horror Picture Show and stuff like that.
What a time.
Yeah.
What a
So
time.
that was fun.
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
All right. Well, as a note for the regular listeners, this was the last episode of our like regular weekly episodes for BRAToween. If you're listening to this the day that it comes out, I think Halloween is 2 days later. We do have like a special bonus that we've been working on for a long time.
Okay.
Which do we want to say what it is or not, Ben?
I don't
It's
know,
coming
Gwen.
out
Should
in
we
2
reveal it?
days. Should we reveal
That's
it? You reveal it.
entirely
You
up
do
to
it.
you.
You do it, Ben.
We are doing an all trans D&D game with Briar, who has been on our podcast before as the GM, along with Augie and Ashley from our server, and me and Robin.
Yeah, it's been really fun, like role playing with like an all trans group. It's been really, really cool. So
That'll be fun.
and except for Ben and I, everybody is a DM in our group. So yeah, it's really fun. And we're really excited to release some of that. So
I'm playing a problematic, slightly racist satyr ex-stepdad piece of shit, and it's kind of fun.
it's hilarious. Yeah. And I play a fairy. I play a very goth fairy.
I like dunking on my character. He's awful.
And we are both totally fae. So
yeah.
Fae.
All right, everybody. Thanks again, Gwen, for being on the Brat Pod.
Of course.
I have been your Brat Queen, Robin.
I have been your Brat King, Ben.
We will see you all in 2 days for some D&D. All right, bye everybody.
Also, Robin, I have news about my lab results.
Yes.
According to my T levels, I am biologically male, at least chemically, but I have too much blood in my blood, so I might get in trouble with Dr. Red blood cells and hematocrit and hemoglobin are all in the yellow/red.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. I like getting all my blood test results back that say I have less testosterone than a cis one every time. It's very nice.
My last results were just like my testosterone's not quite down that level yet, but it has been dropping steadily, so that's good. So, but my estrogen levels are exactly where they need to be. So
that's amazing. Yeah. And you're only 6 months in. You're going to be on such a fun journey for the next couple of years. I'm excited to see you go on that journey.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm excited for you too. Like that's great. Like you're 2 months in now, so that's awesome.
I'm really happy.
And Ben says it only hurts. Ben says it only hurts going down the stairs without a bra for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it takes a couple years, but once your boobs are done growing, it does not, like, you don't have to do this when you're going down the stairs.
Yeah,
I know it's a nightmare, and I've been there.
Well, for me,
this is
like
a lot of the Discord discussion.
For me, the worst part is like whenever like Pumpkin, whenever I'm taking her for a walk, and then she just yanks me and wants to go run, and it's just like, ow, like I can't do that, honey, I can't.
My cats have like laser scopes. Like if I'm laying in bed on my back, they will just pounce directly on my nipples. Like
it's ouchy.
Man, it hurts so much.
Stormy does that.
Oh, but they're so cute.
When it's cat paw like size ratio directly on the boob, it still hurts after years. I'm very sorry. Like that. Yeah. The cats are just gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Full body weight.
Yeah. My dogs will do the same. They like to get up in personal space and just stand like ever since growing out my hair, like if I'm laying down, Pumpkin will actually stand over me and like pin me down to the bed with my hair. It's just like, please stop.
If that's your natural hair color, by the way, I hate you.
It is.
Oh, you are evil. Why did you do this? How dare you do that to me with this horrible poop colored hair?
Oh, I love your hair.
I actually got this hair color both from my dad and my grandmother. So,
well, they're blessed.
Yeah,
maybe not in other ways, but at least follically.
Yeah, follically definitely. But well, my dad, no, he's not, because he has.
Is he one of these now?
He has male pattern baldness. Like he has like up here, and then there's stuff building there, but. He got to the point whenever I was growing up where he just shaved his entire head because he couldn't deal with all the, patches.
That's the move.
Yeah.
See, he should have just gotten on estrogen the whole time.
Yeah, get started before it's too bad. Stop it.
Yeah.
Well, it was really nice meeting you. I'm going to go tell Chris he can play video games until bed now. My poor husband. He misses his whatever.
You can get back on the phone again.
Yeah.
I'll hang up the internet.
Oh, yeah.
It was so nice to meet you. You're amazing.
Oh, yeah. It's nice meeting both of you, too. It was great.
Hopefully next time my internet's better so we can actually be on the same time in the conversation. Though it's better now.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah.
It must have just been
it was waiting till the end of the conversation. I think your internet might be transphobic.
It's definitely transphobic. I'm in county. It's more conservative here than where I was. I'm from a county north, and that county's the better county, but we can't afford that county, so.
Oh.
Safety is expensive.
Yeah, safety is very expensive.
Oh, that was dark.
It's true, though.
It's dark, but true.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Well,
Good
thank
night.
you.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, I think we lost Ben.
Yeah, we did. Oh, no. Oh, no. No pet throwing. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
You know what? She can be like a replacement guest host.
Yeah.